Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. I'm your host, Adam, once again. Um, so it is June 30th. I believe that last day of June, last day of Pride Month. And I think Pride Month kind of got drowned out by the whole anti-ICE raids thing that went on in LA and various cities, and then the No Kings protest that was funded by billionaires, of course. Um, so it's got me posing a few questions about Pride Month because you see it. It used to be this thing. The last few years we've seen it kind of fizzle into what it is now, and it's like it's last year it was Haktua, which basically took out the whole Pride Month meaning or whatever, and kind of just took away a lot of the recognition for it. And now I think there's like protests surrounding Pride Month. This like when they were having celebrations. I think it was Minneapolis. They were doing a celebration, like a parade or something like that, and a bunch of a bunch of people came and started protesting, like because the corporations are starting to take action in this and benefit off of this. Because I could pull up a chart, but I'm not going to. There's a chart. It's a meme, I think. It's of all like the Twitter pages in the month of June in America, and a lot of them, like Mercedes Benz, Hyundai or whatever the one, Target, whatever, insert your brand there. In America during the month of June, they add on the whole the pride flag in their bio and all that. But then you look at the Middle Eastern side of the Middle Eastern branches of these companies, and they don't do that. So it's a lot of appealing to the audiences in the regions that they're at, which is fine. I mean, I don't. One of the main questions that I have with Pride Month and surrounding Pride Month is like, why, why? I get the work that the communities put in to get the rights that they have. I understand that. What I don't get is like, for example, if you look at heterosexual, if you're a heterosexual person, like what is, do you take pride in that? Like, do you take pride in being a heterosexual? I mean, do we have a month? Do we want a month? Like, I don't want a month. I mean, I wouldn't want that. But why does there need to be like this big presentation of, you know, parades where people are possibly naked and, there's kids around and people who bring their kids to these demonstrations, like, um, but why would you take pride in that? What's, and so I was listening to the Anthony Cumia show today, and it makes me wonder. He brought up a very good point, and it said like, what between a homosexual and a heterosexual person, like, what's the difference really, other than the way that they have sex? So essentially, like, they wanted the rights to be looked at as like, quote unquote, have the same rights as everyone. Like they had these protests and these demonstrations to be looked at as like normal citizens without prejudice going their way or homophobia or whatever you want to call it. But there's no difference between a straight person and a gay person other than the way that other than what they're attracted to and how they love another person. Like, that's really the only difference. I mean, so why does there need to be this big parade for, I guess, that kind of a demonstration? I don't get it. I've never been to one. I'm probably never gonna go to one. It's just not something that it interests me at all. It's not the first thing I ask someone. Like, I don't care about what my neighbors are doing, like in their bedrooms. It's really none of my business. And they don't care what's going on in my bedroom. Like, it's none of their business. It doesn't matter. But for some reason, it's like they have to, the pride community, like the LGBTQIA plus community they have to make sure that that they stand on this, like, this is where they're at. And like we didn't ask, at first it was let's get married, and let us get married. Okay, well you got that. Now it's let men play in women's sports, and or let trans women go into men's restrooms, or women's restrooms rather, not men's restrooms. But I don't know. It's just a question that I think needs to be posed, and I'm not gonna ask someone like, "What's your like?" I've said this before too. I'm not homophobic, but I don't see why it needs to be inserted everywhere. It needs to be so in your face. It's like diversity in a TV show, like, or a movie. It has to be so overtly in your face and pushed onto you, and it's like you're just watching the show. Like, who cares? It doesn't matter, and that's where things start to get a little, you know, um, historically inaccurate. Like if you're watching like Bridgerton or something, like that's a historic. In my opinion, I feel like that's a historically inaccurate show. Um, and I don't know how this could come off as like not racist, because that's exactly what I'd get. That's what I'll get attacked for. If people see this, they'll say, "Oh, he's a racist." He doesn't like that they put people of color in the show, and that's not it. It's not that I don't like it. It's I don't think it serves the the purpose of telling the story properly. Am I still gonna watch the show with my wife? Yeah, I will, because it's a good show. It's a good show. But the overt like diversity, like the pushing on to you, like you need to understand, like, this is a person of color. Like, it's like, why does it have to be like, I mean, it doesn't bother me either way. I don't care. But just for historical accuracy, I think we need to start looking into that. But and for example, like Hamilton, they have people of color in that play, and that's fine. Musical, sorry, not play. Um, but again, it's a historically inaccurate thing, and it's fine. I mean, maybe they found the best actors, and they were all people of color. That's fine, totally cool. That's great. I've never watched Hamilton. I'm not going to, because I don't. I'm not interested in musicals either. Um, but and then you see people get into a whole tiff over the Little Mermaid and Snow White and all that, where they say like Disney's going woke, which I agree with. I think Disney is going woke, but I don't care. I mean, it's not the people who watch Disney are like my kids, and my wife and I determine what they watch, if it's appropriate or not, and if it isn't, we don't let them watch it. Um, but I don't know. I mean, it seems like they're trying to force feed you. It's like these companies are trying to force feed you in this day and age. Yeah, it's 2025. We don't need to have racism around. But guess what? Racism still exists. Prejudices still exist. Like, that prejudice is still a thing. Like, it's not going away anytime soon. And I scroll on TikTok. I see these people who talk about like these white knights and these white savior ladies, where they say what was the one that I saw today? It was like an hour ago. I saw it. It was a woman saying, the blatant racism on this app or white supremacy and nationalism is so apparent on this app, and people are saying, oh, I used to go on social media to escape what's in my head, and it's no better here. It's like, what the thing is, the white knights and the white saviors have definitely pushed this narrative, and like they're at the heads of like Black Lives Matter. They're at the heads of like the Pride Month stuff, where they're pushing these people who could care less, really. You could care less about it, and that's where I'm at. I could care less, but these people are pushing the people who don't care to a point where it's like white privilege. You blame the white man for everything. You blame the white people for everything because they have a privilege, or whatever the stance is on it. And I don't think that white privilege even exists. I think that you have the same opportunity as anyone in this country, no matter the color of your skin. We all bleed the same color. Is there racism in the country today? Of course there is. That's not going to go away, like I said before. But you see, like with the white privilege movement, they're telling you to check your privilege, and you need to feel bad about this, and you need to feel bad about the oppression that's going on, even though there isn't any. You need to feel bad about the kids who are stuck in the inner cities, even though like they can make something of themselves and move up in the world and get a good degree and get a good job, and they could teach themselves how to drive a semi or something. They could take a class on how to drive a semi. Like, there's tons of companies out there who will put people through that kind of stuff. Like, I did it. I'm half Hispanic, and I mean, but I'm white passing, but still demonize me for that one. I'm white passing, but I think that they've pushed too many people that were like left of center to like more of a stance where they're like pushing back against the anti-racism movement right now, because everything's racist now. Math is racist now. If you say 2 + 2 is 4, that's racism. Like, there's no. If I learned anything in school, math is not racist. It does not discriminate whatsoever. If you don't know what you're doing in math, like, you are screwed. And if you do know what you're doing, then you'll get the right answer. But I don't know. We see a lot of this this pushing on the from the left, or whatever you want to call it, where they're trying to force this diversity, force this anti-racism, force this white people are demons, force if you have some sort of an aversion to homosexuality or pride in any way, shape, or form, or trans surgeries, like you're a bigot, you're a transphobe, you're a homophobe, and aversions don't mean that. Aversions don't mean that you have a phobia, But I don't know. It just seems to be it's a weird state that we're at right now, because these people, people are crying about white nationalism and white supremacy. Like, do you guys even know what that means? Do you guys even know what white supremacy is? Because it's not what you think it is. White supremacy is basically saying that whites are superior to every other race, and that's not true. Nobody's better than anyone. There's no better race than the other. But I've seen it. I mean, and I don't know how many of them are trolls. I don't know how many of them are actually serious about it. I guess I'm not going to do a deep dive because I don't care that much. But then, stating things like all the great things that white people have invented, or all the great things that people of color have invented, or trying to say, like, you're going to keep, like, there's a video that I think about too. This woman is, the street interviews where these guys will go out, like, on Bourbon Street or something, a busy street, like in a club scene. And they'll interview these people who are like, either they're single or, they're in relationships or whatever. And this one guy asked an African-American woman, like, what, would you ever date someone outside your race? Or would you ever marry someone or procreate with someone outside your race? And she said no, because she wants to keep her bloodline clean, or pure. That's what she said, not clean. Excuse me. She said she wants to keep her bloodline clean good grief, pure and black. And, and then the thing is, but if you flip the coin, and say he's interviewing a white woman or a white man, and says, would you procreate with someone outside your race? And if they said no, I want to keep my bloodline pure, I don't want to, mix races or whatever, which is, I don't care about race mixing. I don't care about that at all. But if you took that same interview, it's a double standards type thing, because the white person would be demonized so quick for saying that. But for the black girl, when she said that, it was empowering, and she's allowed to say that. And, I mean, the thing is, freedom of speech is everything. You can say whatever you want, even if it's hateful. You can say what you want. But another thing that I'm thinking about is, like, conservatives, they've been boasting on freedom of speech for how long? They've been complaining about freedom of speech because they haven't had it for, being, censored for the last 5 years or whatever. And now they're finally getting it back. But, and people getting canceled for saying certain things on the right, and then by the left. And now what we're seeing is people on the left, if they're ever going to be canceled, people on the right will say, oh, good, screw that person, I don't care. But you need to keep, the thing is, like, conservatives and liberals, like, you need to be carrying the same energy for everybody. It doesn't matter if you disagree or what. Like, you should be fighting. If you're a free speech advocate, like, you should be, like, fighting for the freedom of all speech on both sides. It doesn't matter what, you can say. You should be able to say whatever you want, but you can't just cherry pick. You can't just cherry pick the ones that feel good, And we've seen too much of that happening lately, where there's a lot of cherry picking going on. And You gotta be a good advocate for something if you really believe in it. Like you have to look at both sides. You have to kind of be unbiased when it comes to stuff like that. How do we get to that? Where were we with that? Talking about double standards. I know that we were talking about pride and you know just going off on a tangent for about 15 minutes there, but I don't know. Pride Month is almost over. It's not anything really. It's just a month. It's just another month. Um, it's like the first month of summer, so that's symbolic of something. I don't know what, but um, also I feel like months just are blurry now. You just go through them. You don't know what as you get older, months just go by faster, and that's something that I remember. Summers used to feel like eternity, and now they feel like it's just gone like that. And all of a sudden, it's winter or fall time, and then winter time, and it's getting colder again, and then spring sneaks up on you once again. But if you're here, like where we're at, it's just like spring takes forever to kick off. Like I think we skipped spring and we just went right to summer. we had like we had like 70-degree days in March, I think, and that was weird. But then we got like a snowstorm in like April, so I don't know. I don't control the weather; the government does that for us. So some current events that we're talking about today. Um, Boo, where do we want to start? So there was a death of a woman. You guys remember the Boulder attack in Colorado, where that man, it's like an anti-Semitic attack on some Jewish people, and the Idaho suspect is accepting a plea deal in the college student murders, and the U.S. Senate beginning to vote on a large bill. Oh, that's a different thing. Apparently a woman passed away. So she was injured by one of the shots, and then she recently passed away. So a woman injured. Let's pull that up. A woman injured. Do we want to do Google News or NBC? Boo. Let's do NBC. It seems like it's going more of a. So Brian Koberger. Why is this Ohio or Idaho? Hold on. Bear with me here, you guys. What the heck? That's not what I wanted. I wanted yeah, they say it's a more in detail like look, but it's not. Hold on. I need a producer. Yeah, I need a producer. Oh, so many different news sites to choose from. Let's go with we do local news. Let's do local news for Colorado. Let's do that. Local news 8. Um so yeah, apparently, I don't know how many people. I think we covered it on here, but I don't think we went super in depth. So this is via CNN, the one I tried to avoid. Now we're on it. A victim of the anti-Semitic attack in Boulder, Colorado, earlier this month has died, and additional victims have been identified. The Boulder County District Attorney's Office said in a statement on Monday, Karen Diamond, 82, gosh, what a way to go, died tragically as a result of severe injuries that she suffered in the attack, the statement says. She's the only victim to have died since the incident. This horrific attack has now claimed the life of an innocent person who was beloved by her family and friends, Boulder County District Attorney Michael Doherty said. Part of what makes Colorado... Okay, I don't care about what makes Colorado special. Doesn't matter. So a woman passed away. The total number of victims has increased to 29. The charges against suspect Mohammed Solomon have been updated and amended. Solomon, 45, is now facing 2 first-degree murder charges, one for extreme indifference and the other with intent after deliberation. So it was a planned-out thing. The district attorney's office said both of those charges are related to Diamond's death. Rightfully so. Under an amended complaint, the prosecutor's office said Solomon is now facing more than 100 charges, including murder and attempted first-degree murder, attempted assault, and using and attempting to use an incendiary device, and animal cruelty. What? Animal cruelty? Did he hurt a dog? Did he hurt a dog? That's crazy. Pfft, that piece of shit. You mess with someone's dog, they're probably going to give him the death penalty for that one. Some of the charges also come with crime of violent sentence enhancers. If convicted, Solomon faces life in prison without the possibility of parole for each of the murder charges in his state case. Why do they have to specify that? Multiple life sentences for the death of each of the murder charges. Like, it's okay. If you get one, that's pretty bad. You get one life sentence, you're not getting out. I don't know why they need to keep tacking on more. Just like to rub it in your face. Like, you killed 6 people, so I'm giving you 6 life sentences, you piece of work. It's not funny. His preliminary hearing in the matter is scheduled for July 15th. So I heard he took the plea. He's being represented by a public defender. Dude. Which has a standing policy to not comment on criminal cases. Of course not. Solomon is also facing federal hate crime charges related to the attack. He has pleaded not guilty to those charges, but he pled guilty to the murder charges. They say it's anti-Semitic, and I feel like that's only because of his name. Now, I don't know the manifesto. I don't know why he did this. He did attack Jewish people, though, so it does scream anti-Semitism. That'd be like you going to, that'd be like another person going to like not a synagogue, but like a mosque, and then just doing something to the people there. And that would be an Islamic hate crime, or going to a church and, a Christian church and shooting with the intent to injure or kill someone. That's it's definitely a hate crime. It's definitely persecution, as they would say. We see a lot of that happen. So the fact that this has happened, my thoughts and prayers obviously go out to the families who are affected by this. I can't imagine, having to go through that. You're just minding your own business, and all of a sudden this madman comes out with a gun and just starts firing them off and kicks your dog or something, or does whatever. I want to know about the animal cruelty thing. He's probably getting a life sentence for that one too, if they're smart. So he's pled guilty, took the plea deal, but not to the hate crime charges. He just don't want to admit that, I guess. But it's weird. That's a weird one. You plead guilty to everything else but the hate crime charges. That's cool. It's not funny, guys. It's not funny at all. This is very serious. No, but I hope the families are doing fine. Dealing with that trauma after the fact. I mean, it can't be easy. I'll say that. Idaho murders. I didn't hear about this. Oh boy. This is back in 2022. Brian Kohberger. Trial was scheduled to begin in August, and prosecutors were seeking the death penalty for the 2022 murders. Whoa. I mean, that works. I mean, it makes sense. Why wouldn't it? So he murdered Ethan Chapin, Zana Kernodle, Madison Mogan and Kaylee Gonclaves. He's fatally stabbed 4 college students in Idaho, not Ohio. Come on, different state. Practically the same. I don't know. I've never been to either one, but appears ready to accept a deal to plead guilty in connection with the killings. One victim's family and their attorneys said Monday. The family of Kaylee Gonclaves said that they learned of the apparent deal in a letter from prosecutors, according to a statement. The family said on Facebook, that's the best place to take your information. In an updated statement, man, I could write for this, that gave a hard no after prosecutors broached the possibility of a plea deal on Friday before prosecutors emailed them about the deal on Sunday. According to the Idaho Statesman, probably, the letter said the plea deal will ensure Kohberger's conviction and secure life in prison for him. So they're probably, I don't know if they're going to do away with the death penalty or not, but, I get a kick out of that when people just take to social media with your updates about private information. Like, could you be any more of an attention whore? Like, I mean, I know your daughter's been gone for 3 years almost, but for you to take it to Facebook, really? It's just odd. Like, just no one has any privacy anymore. Nobody cares about privacy anymore. Nobody cares. And it's odd. It's weird. Let's just take to Facebook and click. Let's see how many reactions I get. They're all cares and hearts. Angry reactions for people who disagree. Man, those reactions are so stupid. They're so dumb. The angry one. I get a kick out of it when I would post something and people would clearly put the angry. What do you need to prove to me that you're angry? You can't just scroll by and not react to it. I mean, I've angry reacted to things too, but this agreement ensures the defendant will be convicted, will spend the rest of his life in prison, and will not be able to put you and the other families through the uncertainty of decades of post-conviction appeals. Okay, so he has no he has no right to parole either. Read the letter signed by Leda County Prosecuting Attorney Bill Thompson, according to the Idaho statements. I keep wanting to say Ohio, and that's not it. The Gonclaves family had earlier said that Leda County Prosecuting Attorney's Office vaguely mentioned a possible plea deal on Friday before presenting it to the family on Sunday through a letter sent via email without seeking our input. Why do you... Okay, I get what about the other families? Don't they want to know? Like, wouldn't they want to know? Why is it all about this Gonclaves girl? Like, the Gonclave family. They sound really hoity-toity. You have to check with us first before you make any decision because we have the same power as the courts. They're all wearing powdered wigs and shit. Without seeking our input. Yeah. You got to check with us first, buddy. Why would they have to check with you first? Are you the one prosecuting him? I mean, I understand you want justice for your daughter, but what do you want to do? You want to kill another man who killed your daughter? Have everyone in the family line up. Hang on. I gotta put these on before I start talking shit. So, have everyone in the family line up at the hearing, or after, or whatever. Maybe you can do like a luncheon or something in between. Have everyone in the family line up. Make sure they bring their sharpest knives, and just everyone gets a quick little. Every member in the family. Give one to the dog too. Give one to the dog. Give one to the youngest. Have him walk up and just shank him. Once, just do it once, maybe, or however many times he got your daughter. I mean, it sounds like that's what you want to do. So you should just go in and just have like 6 people walk through with knives and just gotcha, bitch. um, without our input, without seeking our input. You don't deserve that input. You shouldn't have to. I mean, what are you gonna say? Are you gonna have you're gonna sway the judge's idea or decision? Really? You're gonna sway the DA's decision? No, they don't care. They don't care about what you have to say. They're just there to find the truth. And if he so happens to get a plea deal, which it's not going to be any less than life in prison, it won't. Maybe you guys can line up and just walk up and just stab him once, each of you. Even if it's 3 people, he's probably not going to make it. You know, I mean, that's clearly what you guys want. The Conclave royalty of Idaho, obviously specializing in that. The Yukon Gold potatoes. Boise's finest. In its updated statement, the family said they met with prosecutors again on Monday to reiterate their desire for the death penalty. Okay, so that's what they want. I should have kept reading. Just have them all line up with knives. Have them all line up with their best knives from the kitchen and just... Better yet, no, potato peelers. Just everyone gets one good swipe. You walk through while he's hearing his sentence or his sentencing agreement, and you walk through and just get him on the back of the neck with that potato peeler. Just one quick swipe. Make it deep, too, Make it deep so then you can hear him yelp in pain. You sick, demented fucks, dude. Good grief. I don't know how I feel about the death penalty. I think that he can feel, if he doesn't show any like remorse or he doesn't feel sorry about it, then probably. But yeah, I like the potato peeler idea. I like that. We should do that. I will petition. I will write into the court for you guys, and you can walk through with potato peelers or a knife if you want, and just one little quick. Make it dull too. You really got to dig it in there. But I like the potato peeler thing. If that's what you guys have on hand, probably better. Way better. Unfortunately, this is back to the quote in the story. Unfortunately, all of our efforts did not matter, the family said. Oh, yeah. Well, it's not going to... Okay. I'm not going to say anything rude, but, I don't think that... I think we're past that. I think that your efforts don't matter. Nothing's going to bring your daughter back, and that sucks. Nothing's going to bring any of these kids back, and it's not right. It's not right what this gentleman did in a fit of rage, or maybe because Trump became president. Maybe he got upset about, or Trump wasn't president then. Maybe it was because Biden became president, or because they brought Dr. Rachel Levine in. He thought, God, I can't stand that health professional in the White House there. I swear we should just get her out of there. She's using the wrong restroom. Then he just took it out on 4 college students. Anyway, he's 30. Koberger was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and burglary in the 2022 killings of Ethan Chapin, Zaina Kernodle, very beautiful name, Zaina, with an X, mind you, Madison Mogan, and Gonclaves. Ooh, she doesn't even get the first name now. Gonclaves. The royal potato family. At an off-campus home in Moscow. Wait a minute. Hold on. I want to make sure I read that right. Is there a Moscow, Idaho? And then the family just keeps complaining. Oh, these young kids, that's so sad. Good grief. Wait, hold on one second. I need to find this out. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, there is a city in Idaho called Moscow. Wow. I thought he traveled all the way to Russia to do this. What a piece of work. He found a Moscow. Maybe he was mad about the Ukraine thing. Who knows why he did it? He's probably upset. Probably upset about the whole Ukraine thing. This is for I can't afford the plane ticket to actual Russia, so I'm just going to go to the next best thing. Moscow, Idaho. Hell yeah. Let's continue. I don't know why I'm making jokes about this. Off-campus home, so they all live together. Kind of a Three's Company situation, or Four's Company, rather. In an interview with NBC News on Monday night, Steve Gonclaves, Kaylee's father, was upset and said he considers the plea agreement a quote-unquote ridiculous joke. He said he wants the judge to reject the deal. Okay, you can want the judge to do that. You know what I wanted the judge to do in my case? I wanted him to let me go. Sure, I got caught with 52 grams of weed. But yeah, why not? Let me go, sir, will ya? Because I asked so nicely. Yeah. Quote unquote, there's no justice in this, he said. The family also said on Facebook that it was quote unquote beyond furious at the state of Idaho. They should get Putin on the phone, be like, hey, listen, buddy, this happened and you're responsible. Additional details about the reported deal were not immediately available. Good. The Leda County Prosecuting Attorney's Office and an attorney for Kohberger's declined to comment. Good. Keep it on the up and up, man. Like, just keep it on the DL. Don't. These people are bringing it to Facebook like people care. I mean, people do care. I shouldn't say people don't care, but it's like you're bringing it to Facebook. Really? You're going to bring it to Facebook and everyone will see it there as I'm sitting in my potato recliner. The dad's going to show up and he's going to have a weapon. I'm letting you know that right now. The dad's going to show up and he's going to have a freaking potato peeler in his belt buckle, or not his belt, in his little holster on his hip, in case he runs into some lily-livered sissy who can't peel potatoes properly. So he brings it. It's engraved with his initials, with the family seal on the handle of the potato peeler. He's just gonna go right up to the guy and he's just right down the back of the neck. And he'll ask him before it happens. He'll go, hey, you know what happens when a rooster peeks over a fence? He'll go up. He'll go down and up. Oh, I don't see an issue there. I don't. I don't see an issue with him with Sir Gonclaves going, Lord Gonclaves, whatever you want to call him, going up there and just taking matters into his own hands, asking the judge during his testimony, can I have at least 2 minutes in the room with him? No, you cannot. Okay, well, can I approach him? I really want to tell him something. I feel like the Gonclaves have definitely taken this case and been like, you fucking, like, they've taken the reins on this case and made it, like, all about their kid, even though 3 other children were killed in this. I feel like that's kind of trashy. Yeah, they were all 20, 21. Gonclaves was 21 as well. Were found November 13th, 2022. Authorities linked Kohberger to the killing through cell phone data, security camera video, and DNA on a knife search, or a knife sheath discovered at the scene. He wanted to be caught. He left his sheath. He wanted to be caught, you know? He didn't... Kohberger was arrested at his family on December 30th at his parents' home in Pennsylvania. He's on the run for like a month and a half. That's crazy. That's nuts. In Pennsylvania, mind you. The Gonclaves family. Here we go. It's more and more about the Gonclaves. Oh, goodness gracious. I've been saying the name wrong. I'm sorry. The Goncalves. Goncalves? Goncalves. Goncalves. Must be a family of runners. Potato runners, if you will. The potato running royalty family. The potato running royal family of Idaho. Of Moscow, Idaho. Shannon Gray. Sorry. The Goncalves. Goncalves? Yeah, Goncalves. Let's say that. Shannon Gray, their attorney, Shannon Gray, family attorney, got her on retainer. Said they wanted the death penalty in part because that would change Kohberger's time in prison. The death penalty, even though it's probably not going to happen in anybody's lifetime, when you're in prison, you're basically on lockdown for 23 hours, and you get about an hour of rec time. Yeah, you're in your cell for about 23, and you get some reading done. You write, can't leave, do some push-ups, sleep, take a dump, jerk off, do whatever you do. I don't know what they do in prison. And then you get an hour to go and get shanked. Oh, no, you get an hour to go do rec. Or how do they fit that all in 1 hour? You do like 10 minutes of rec, 10-minute shower, 10 minutes to eat. Well, you don't get to eat, but 10 minutes to go get books from the library, 10 minutes to go bullshit with your friends. Your friends. Something tells me this guy's not going to have any friends in prison. But if your life sentence, you're just walking around and doing the things that any other prisoner will do, he said. So it was a big deal for them. Wait, what? What was a big deal for them? Him going to prison for life? Oh, okay. I get what they're saying now. Steve Goncalves said, Lord Goncalves also said that he believes Kohberger will try to write a book or have some other communication about the crimes, and that the proposed plea deal doesn't stop him. Oh, man, these people can't write articles. Doesn't stop him from doing that. We have a killer who wants a show, so they gave him one, he said. What makes them say he's going to write a book? Like, what possible indicator do you have that he wants to write a book about this? Oh, like because of OJ or something? I want to write a book. Why would he want to? I already know the Goncalves family is going to be writing a book. They're going to be writing a book about this. How our potato... I need to stop. It's not funny. How the Goncalves dynasty, how their potato heiress, how their potato princess was taken from them, and how we potato peeled this guy's neck in his court hearing case, because we're just... Nobody gets away with that. Yeah. Potato princess. That's sad though, for real. I mean, that actually kind of sucks. I don't know. We'll see what happens, I guess. We'll pay attention to that one, We'll pay attention. What else we got? They're trying to end birthright citizenship. Supreme Court, I believe, unanimously decided. And everyone's losing their minds over it, and it's like, who cares? You have an anchor baby and you're illegal. Why would you want to separate the family? Why would you want to separate the kids from the parents? A family that enters illegally together gets deported together. How the Supreme Court's ruling on the universal injunctions may affect birthright citizenship. Now, this is factcheck.org, so we know that we're really dealing with the true stuff. In a June 27th ruling, oh God, that's already 3 days old. The Supreme Court granted the Trump administration's request to partially halt nationwide injunctions blocking President Donald Trump's executive order, ending birthright citizenship for certain people born in the U.S. Justice Amy Coney Barrett, a Trump appointee who wrote the majority opinion, said universal injunctions issued by district judges likely exceed the equitable authority that Congress has given to federal courts. So it's basically stopping these district judges from overruling, basically. In the three prior cases addressed in the ruling, courts issued the injunctions after siding with plaintiffs who argued that the executive order Trump issued on January 20th violated the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which says in part, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. So if it's an adult and they were born here and they've been here for 50 years and their parents are, very old, but their parents were immigrants and they came over illegally, maybe they came over on a work visa or granted amnesty. Maybe the person who was born here while they were immigrants, maybe they don't get deported if they're 50, if they've already built a life here. But I'm thinking, I think they're talking about like little kids, kids who are still under the roof of the parents. If you deport the parents, you should probably deport the kids too. And I'm not saying that to be a jerk off. I'm just saying that because why would you want to split up a family? Why would you want to split up a family? That'd be one of the scariest things ever. But I don't know. I don't know what they're doing here. It seems, again, I can't speak on like why they're doing it because I don't know. I have no clue, no idea. Where was I? The idea was to grant citizenship to recently freed slaves, but the 14th Amendment ratified in 1868 also forms the basis of the country's longstanding policy of granting birthright citizenship to anyone born on American soil. Okay, anyone, but again, it goes back to, would you want to separate a family? Now that becomes a moral conundrum because you don't know what's right. Now, if it's a person who's 20, out of their parents' house and their parents are illegal and they had them here, I think they should be able to stay, if you're born here. But I think if you're under the family, the ruling of the family, I don't know. It's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope. And I know I talk a lot of shit, but this is something that I'm a little more, I think I can kind of sympathize with it a little more because, I'm not an immigrant by any chance, but my grandparents were, and I've talked about this before. But my father, I believe, was born in Brownsville or something like that. So he was born in America. I don't know how that works. My father's like 50 something now. It'd be a waste of time if they deported him just based on that. My grandfather, God rest his soul. My grandmother, she's back in Mexico. So I don't know. I think it might just be if you break the law or something. They're probably going to start looking at you. They're probably going to start looking at you a little bit sideways. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I guess I don't know where to stand on this one because it's a gray area. And I get where the left is coming from. Like, oh, this is wrong. You can't deport these kids. It's like you're right. But if they can't survive without their parents, if they're completely dependent on them, if, for example, my kid, my son, and my son's almost 5, my daughter's almost 3, my youngest, she's gonna be 7 months in a couple of days, so she's under a year old. All my kids are dependent on my wife and I. So if we were here illegally and they deported my wife and I, but they left our kids here, that doesn't make any sense. But if we all got deported together, that would be the most ideal situation. But we don't. Again, I'm not going to pretend that's just an example. I'm not going to pretend like I know what that's like because I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? But it was a 63 vote. Obviously, the 3 were the opposers. The justices ruled in a 6-3 vote along ideological lines that the injunctions blocking the implementation across the country were broader than necessary to provide complete relief to each plaintiff withstanding to sue. Excuse me. Pardon me. The decision effectively means that federal district judges can no longer issue sweeping injunctions that shield everyone in the country from an administration policy rather than just the parties who challenge the government in court. So when you see like the governors or the attorney generals of the state saying like we're not going to do this, we're gonna this is the same as like Nazi Germany, like they're fucking crazy, and that's not gonna fly anymore. You're not gonna be able to oppose it. You're not gonna be able to do refuge or not refuge, harboring a fugitive. I guess if that's how you want to look at it, you wouldn't be able to do that anymore. Yeah, who knows? I mean, this could be. A lot of people are bitching about this too. They're like, "Oh, you can't do this." I mean, yeah, but look at what Obama did. You know, Obama deported so many more people, like 5.8 million, and Trump's hit like what 200,000. The Trump administration hit like 200,000 or something like that. I don't know. It's just they're making such a big deal about this one. It's like, dude, it's the same fucking thing, but it's not though because like Trump, Trump has deported like a general fraction of what Obama did, or even Clinton or Bush. I don't know. The TDS is crazy. The Trump derangement syndrome is nuts. He 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 deported the MS-13 gang member. How dare he? That was a promising young man with a nice future. Yeah, I don't know. They're just getting so upset about it, and it's like, just give it up. You don't care that much. This is where we go back to white saviors and white knights. It's like, you don't care that much. You don't. You act like you do, just to get laid. These dirty liberals, like, so stupid. It's so dumb. Just don't be a phony. You know, you don't care. Nobody cares. The people who are under, like, and it's funny to me. I don't remember if I talked about this last time, but the anti-ICE raids. You know, you see these people who are doing it, and they're like, "Oh, we're social advocates. Like, we're advocates for this. Like, or we're like, we're activists for this. Like, we are against this." But then you don't see any of like the OG like Hispanics. You know why you don't see them? Because they're all at their jobs working. They don't have time to stand on the street and protest. It's all white liberals, and it's stupid idiot kids who are just like, we're gonna protest, man. Like, we're gonna protest, dude. And then the OGs are just at work because they gotta pay the bills. It doesn't stop. It's so funny to me. They're like, just the whole the It's odd because it's not even the people that. It's not even people who really are going to be deported. And if it is people who are going to be deported, like, you're an idiot if you go out there and protest. Like, oh, you might as well just paint a freaking bullseye on your forehead, dude. You might as well just paint a target on your back. I'm here illegally. And I'm out here protesting. Like, dude, it's all just idiots. All just stupid people. But I get it. You know, you care about a cause, and that makes you better and morally superior than everyone. So with that, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I shouldn't have said the date on this because I'm probably not going to release it until tomorrow. But it comes out today. Let's just say that it comes out today. I appreciate you guys hanging out and listening to me rant and tell my shit jokes, but it means a lot. The support is crazy, and I feel like I'm starting to get into a little bit more of a flow with it, and probably have a guest on next time. So appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Have a good rest of your week. Have a happy Independence Day, and that is I know that there's a lot of things surrounding that right now where people we're 4th of July is canceled. Like, you can't cancel a federal holiday. We're boycotting it because it's wrong. It's wrong that we're 250 years old. Is that wrong to you? Or not 250. How many is it? 1776. To not quite 250 years old. Not quite. Next year. Um, but you can't cancel that. You can boycott everything you want to. Like people, well, I'm gonna boycott Bud Light. I'm gonna Bud Light, or I'm gonna boycott 4th of July. Like, okay, you go ahead. You boycott Independence Day. You see how that works out for you. It doesn't matter. Stay home. Everybody else stays home. What? Less people at the fireworks? Don't mind if I do. I can't wait to get a great seat when people are boycotting 4th of July. Oh man, parking's crazy. It gets so nuts when you're trying to watch fireworks with your kids. Um, yeah. Anyway, you guys, I appreciate you guys. This is Political Sanity. I'm your host, Adam Bruton. Have a good night.